Hello, welcome back to Bella Star Astrology. I am your host, Stella, here to talk about all things astrology for the month of October 2022. And this is a reading for all my Aries out there. Let me tell you, for every sign this month, it's going to be a pretty intense ride. You are no exception. So just be ready. This is going to activate almost every single house, every single sign in your chart, whether it's in opposition, whether it's directly, but pretty much every single house will be affected this month by the changes going on. And I mean, I say that in general because mostly the planets are kind of spread out right now, but really, like, everything is moving into alignment to affect almost every part of your life. So let's get started, Aries. And of course, we start with Mercury going direct in Virgo on October 2nd. This is going to be a really interesting time. We've all been delayed and waiting for Mercury to finally move into its own sign every year. It's really strong in Virgo, just like it's strong in Gemini. But this direct move means all of the plans that you've been holding back on, all of the things that you've been trying to avoid or have been delaying have been delayed because of this Mercury retrograde finally come into alignment in an earth sign. So as we all know, it went from air, Libra, to earth, Virgo. And this means that the thoughts, the things you were planning, the ideas that you had that you kind of ruminated on, that you put on a shelf, are now going to need to come into full view. You're going to have to be the worker bee that you know how to be. And of course, you're great with starting projects, but it's the follow through that's really hard for you. And this Mercury Direct is going to help you because it is in an earth sign. It's going to have all of you thinking about how you can manifest your dreams on a real level. But not to be defeated, there's so many planets going direct this month. Basically, Saturn's going to go direct later on. But before that, Pluto goes direct in Capricorn on October 8th. That's going to be hitting your 10th house of career. This is going to mean any hidden agendas, any hidden things that you may have been sort of not really paying attention to, or that may have been brought up during the retrograde period of Pluto, are now going to come into culmination. You're going to be able to just tie up those loose ends and make some decisions that you maybe were afraid to make before. And just be careful not to push yourself too hard. With all of these planets going direct, it's going to be very action oriented. And as an Aries, you're all about that action. But just remember that sometimes you tend to go off the hinges. And with Pluto going direct in your 10th house, this might indicate that you might make a mistake when it comes to your career as opposed to an advancement. So make sure that the steps you're taking are in alignment with your end goals, not just your immediate needs, because that could be the result of a Pluto direct. Anyway, we move on, and the full moon will be in Aries on October 9th. Super, super energized moon. The moon is not always comfortable here, but in the full moon aspect, hitting your first house, something about who you are is about to come to an end. And the fact that you have your sixth house being hit with Mercury Direct, then your 10th house, and then your first house, I'm thinking a lot of you are going to reevaluate your job situation. You're going to reevaluate your careers, how important it is to you, how important work-life balance might be. Maybe even the projects you've been putting yourself into might not be as lucrative as you thought, or maybe it might be time to end certain working relationships that are just not serving you. Of course, again, like I said, with Pluto going direct, make sure it's a long-term goal strategy and not just for this moment, because you might end up, kicking yourself in a few months down the road as you're still under Mercury retrograde shadow, which is about 2 weeks after it goes direct. Moving on, we get into that Mercury again, moving into Libra on October 10th. And this is where that energy of Mercury, again, in that headspace of Libra, in the area of your love life, really comes to your defense, to your support. You're going to have a lot more patience in your love life. You may be a lot more contemplative, a lot more thoughtful, maybe plans for the future. If not, You might even decide to do something more serious with your love partner that you might not have been expecting, just because of the things that are being hit and how, Mercury entering into your seventh house of Libra, it might make you more brash, it might make you more quick footed. But, again, with that 10th house is also Pluto direct is still going to be very influential in your chart. It might be that you have thoughts of more commitment on the mind, of moving forward with your relationship, maybe at a much faster speed, as Mercury is all about speed, than you thought you were ready for. And those thoughts that you had while Mercury was retrograde, like, oh, this partner is actually a really good partner. This partner is very supportive of me. Now, while Mercury is direct in Libra, you might exercise on those plans. Now, just be careful what you say to people, of course, because Mercury can make you a little bit more cutting when you speak to others. And being an Aries, those words don't always come to you in the most eloquent way. So be careful doing that as well. Then, as we move out through the month, like I said earlier, Saturn goes direct in Aquarius. This is, your 11th house. This is going to be about the groups and the family and the family you choose, the dreams that you have, the hopes and wishes that you have for the future. What I really want you to concentrate on as Saturn goes direct is all of the things that have been held back while Saturn was in retrograde. And you might be a little overwhelmed by your social life at that point once you really get into this Saturn direct moment. And you might even say, like, who are the friends that are really supporting me? While it was in retrograde, you got to see people for who they were. Saturn isn't just, the teller of time, the person, the planet that we're all dreading to go into whatever house it's going into. Some of you might even be in a Saturn return period if you're around 27, 28, 29 years old, depending on what year you were born. And what you want to make sure of is that when Saturn goes direct, again, don't make any huge ending, cutting decisions. Make sure it's a long term. Make sure it's a long road, a plan, or make sure you've had evidence of, the fact that this relationship might not be serving you anymore. And you make a decision from a place of, love for yourself and not rushed, or feeling like, oh, if I don't make this decision, I am going to regret it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You want to make sure that this is happening because you chose it, right? But again, Saturn direct can be great. It might open up more opportunities for you to socialize. It might open up all of those blocks that you had before about being nervous to get out there. A lot of you went through a little bit of tumult throughout the last 2 years with, let's say, the germ that was going around. Let's not call it what it is, right? It's still YouTube. And now you're seeing a lot more social opportunities. You might have been hesitant before because you were afraid, but there's so many just social support and so many people who are probably a lot more healthy than they were. A lot more opportunities might come to you. And then, of course, we move on, and this is probably going to be a really long video because it's so many things going on, but Venus is going to enter Scorpio on the 23rd. And I'm going to say the 23rd to the 25th are the most important days of the month for everyone in this entire, calendar year, whatever. Sorry, maybe just this moment. But those next basically 3 days, 23rd, 24th, 25th, we've got Saturn going direct in Aquarius. We got Venus going into Scorpio. We've got Sun going into Scorpio. Then we have on the 25th, new moon solar eclipse on the 25th. So just all of this Scorpio activity and scorpionic activity happening, and it's all being activated all at the same time, all intensely. Just like, be careful about what it means to be doing what you're doing in life, how you're creating, how you're attacking life. Don't be afraid of the things that are going to be happening through this moment. It's going to be affecting your 8th house. So it's all about the money and the way you take on loans, debts, taxes, inheritances, all of the things that matter outside of you when it comes to money, how you attract money into your life. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of you do maybe increase your wealth. Start a new job that might increase your wealth just because Venus is there. And, there's no real negative planets affecting it other than Uranus on the other end. But this new moon solar eclipse could very well be like you get a amazing job, so keep on the lookout for, opportunities that may come up. Again, I'm seeing this from the point of view holistically of your chart and what it's communicating between the fact that your sixth, your 10th, your first, your third house being activated, your eighth house being activated, and all of these unexpected little, planetary movements that might be, once in a probably lifetime for you, hitting every part of your chart. Probably going to say October is transformational, just like it will be for so many, as every single part of the chart is going to be hit. Yours is going to be about increasing your wealth this month, increasing your ability to obtain wealth. Venus is going to be in the eighth house. Maybe your debts get forgiven. Maybe you get into a debt that is positive, like maybe buying a house. I don't see a fourth house activation, just because Pluto is opposite the fourth house, but I don't think it's that. But you never know. It's just about abundance. It's about the abundance that you can obtain through this lifetime. So that's what I'm seeing for you, Aries. And then, of course, we have Jupiter moving into Pisces in retrograde, or Jupiter going retrograde in Pisces, entering Pisces. And that's going to bring a lot of karmic shifts internally, but maybe some rich karmic shifts internally. You might see yourself looking more positively at how you view yourself, at how you view your skills. Maybe getting this new job, right? Because you're changing your career probably this month. Maybe getting this new job or getting this new position or getting this promotion, income, etc., is going to help elevate your self-esteem, which is really what I see a lot when Jupiter moves into the 12th house. Is people sort of start becoming more positive about their own emotional state and how they feel about themselves, and creating sort of a locus of control that is more outward looking, like I can do anything. I can do what I have to do, right? And then Mercury entering Scorpio, again, another Scorpio activation. This is going to be really interesting, especially once it does that. There's going to be a little mutual reception as Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, will be in Scorpio, and Mars later on that week, the next day, will be entering in retrograde into Gemini in like total crazy times that we're in, activating your eighth and third house. So again, it could be a new job. It could be a new opportunity. It could be, even with the third house getting activated, maybe an extended family member has some sort of opportunity for you to gain inheritance. There's some sort of availability for you to improve your status because of some sort of gift that you're given from an extended family member, or from maybe like playing the lottery, also an option, because third house does rule games. But Mars being retrograde in the third house is going to activate that Mars energy in Gemini, which is basically a lot of fiery, passionate energy. You're going to be activated to do something, whether it's maybe you're going to travel a little bit further to get to a new job, or maybe you're going to be able to obtain maybe a new vehicle. I would say with these activations of the 8th and the 3rd, you could also get a new car and enter into a new contract for a car. These are the types of energies that I'm seeing for you this month, Aries. I know I went a little bit longer than I usually do, but it's a lot going on. And, I will make sure that I post up an overview, because every single house is getting activated this month. Like, you've got the full moon hitting your first house. You've got new moon solar eclipse, Venus, Sun, Mercury hitting your 8th, Mercury hitting your 7th, Mercury starting in your 6th. You've got Mars going retrograde in your 3rd. You got Pluto direct going in the 10th, opposite the 4th. Saturn going direct in the 11th, opposite the 5th. Jupiter going direct in Pisces as well in the 12th house. So I mean it. This is a whole sign activation. And again, Mars going retrograde in the 3rd means the activation of your 9th house, because it'll be opposite your 9th house. And it's just, I've been here doing this a while. And when I see this sort of congregation of planets moving in such a way, I feel like destiny, destined sort of activity happening, good or bad, so be sure to focus on the good so the good comes your way, Aries, which is what I'm probably going to tell, and focus on the good, focus on the positive, because you can probably manifest in any direction with all of this happening. And I really hope it's in your grace that I have for you, Aries. And I'm super excited to see if you have anything that happened this month that you were like, wow, this was really on point. Please comment below. I would love to hear about your experiences in October, especially as an astrologer. I'm so interested in learning how astrology has manifested in your life, what sort of things have changed. So feel free to comment below. Please like and subscribe this video. It helps a lot. It helps to share this video as well. I'm Stella, host of Bella Star Astrology, and I hope you enjoyed this reading of October 2022 for Aries.